and the principles of a person. A motto is the expression of those guiding principles. So let me tell you how it came about appreciating mottos. Picture Colorado. A bunch of girlfriends are going to go down to the Grand Canyon. We're doing a 5-day hike. It's going to be fantastic. We're all excited. Pile into the car, and Stacy says, you know, when I was little, we'd get in the car, and my dad would say, what's our motto? We love adventure. And I thought to myself, your family has a motto? And then, the whole ride along, someone would say, what's our motto? We love adventure. And we did, until things changed. The torrential rain starts to come down. Suddenly we're driving 20 miles an hour because we can't see. It's getting very dark, and we're not as close to the canyon as we should be. And if you've ever driven through southern Utah and Arizona, you know there's not a lot of great places to stop. So we stayed at the Bates Motel. And we were so sure it was the Bates Motel that we actually all stayed in one room. So there we are in our sleeping bags, our thermarests. A couple people got beds. I was a little jealous. And the lights go out, and someone says, what's our motto? And we all answer, yes. We knew we were ready to go because we loved adventure, and we were excited. And so suddenly that whole feeling of being the Bates Motel changed. We weren't worried about the fact that we were going to get to the canyon later than we wanted, and you have to worry about heat. We weren't worried about the fact that we were at the Bates Motel and we weren't going to get any sleep tonight because we loved adventure. And that's what a motto can do. A motto is more than a phrase or an idea. And so you may say, well, what transformed every problem as a chance to build a relationship into a true motto? It's because I started to use it every time I went into a situation that might become a conflict. Now, 78% of the time, according to TKI's conflict resolution style assessment tool, I am a collaborator. 78% of the time. So I don't want you to think that I go in and I'm like, I'm gonna win. I want to win, but I want the other person to win as well. And that's the collaboration. But I do go in thinking that it's a transaction. There's a problem, we need to resolve it, let's do that. But as a leader, don't we want more than that? Don't we want more than a transaction? And so I started to think about what else did I want. I wanted to use it as a chance to build a relationship. And so let me tell you about the first story. I actually am in urgent care operations. I just moved out of it out of rehab not too long ago. And I had started this position, I was 3 weeks in, and there was a new office manager who'd been there 4 whole weeks. And she had never been a manager before. So she wasn't really comfortable with the role yet. And we had a practice manager who'd been in the role for 2 years. Now, Bree and I had worked together. She had worked with me previously. So we had what seemed like a very simple, straightforward problem that needed to be resolved. Someone had been absent 6 times in 4 months. Simple, clear violation of the policy. She'd been coached, check. She'd been counseled, check. It was time for corrective action. And Bree says to me, can you help me on this? I've never been in corrective action, and I've never done corrective action, so I need some help. And I said, of course, absolutely. And then she says, well, by help, I'm thinking you can do it, and I'll watch, because I'm a C1 do 1 learner. Okay. And I knew that this sentence had become my motto, because as I was leaving my office to go to the practice, someone said, Amy, where are you going? I'm off to build a relationship. And that's when I knew it was my motto. And yes, I said it out loud. And yes, I did it like that. I try to keep it inside for the most part. And so I went to the meeting, and what could have been a simple transaction You violated the policy. You need to correct the behavior. Can we help you do that? Have a nice day. That would have been the transaction. But by treating it as an opportunity to build a relationship with a team member I barely knew, it transformed into an hour-and-a-half conversation. And we talked about a lot of things in that hour and a half. And so at the end, she actually thanked me and said, I appreciate the time. Sure. And a week later, I go back to the practice, and she comes up to me and she says, Amy, can I talk to you? Well, I'll talk to anybody. I said, of course. And she says, good, because you're the only person in management I trust. I'd been there 3 weeks, and in the time I'd met her, I'd written her up for corrective action. And yet I'm the one she trusts, because I made it about more than a transaction. Now another story is about how I forgot my motto. I let it go because my emotions got too much for me. I have a coworker who it is this, has been for quite some time. And it got to the point where I prayed every problem was just a transaction because it was so difficult. If I said the font on the slides need to be large enough so you can read the numbers, the answer would be no, it doesn't matter about the numbers, it's just about the pie graph. And so everything felt like a problem. And I said, what are you thinking, Amy? This is your motto. Use it. It's your guiding principle. And I am not going to kid you that our relationship is gumdrops and rainbows. But it is getting better because I don't go in even thinking about the transactional problem anymore. I go in and I think about the fact that I need to build a relationship with this person. And so we're not there, but we're moving in a better direction. And the final story that I have is, again, what could appear to be a simple transaction. And the reason I picked these stories is because they all sound like simple transactions, corrective action. Or in this case, working in urgent care, you would be surprised at the number of patients who come in actively having a stroke or a heart attack. And they come in and they beg you not to send them to the ED. Nope, I'm not having a heart attack. What? Nope, I can't go to the ED. Fix me here. Doesn't quite work that way. But they come to us anyway. And we started to have conversations about the fact that were our physicians and our nurse practitioners prepared enough? Was the whole team prepared enough? We only have BLS certification. So we said, maybe we should get ACLS. Okay. Clinical nurse lead says, fine, I'll get in touch with education. We want ACLS. No, you don't. Yes, we do. No, you don't. Yes, we do. But you don't need it. I said, time out. Let's meet and talk about this. And Joyce said to me before we went in there, she's like, we have got to get them to understand that we need ACLS. And I said, we have got to go in there and build a relationship. She knows me well, so she rolled her eyes. And in we go. So we need ACLS. No, you don't. Yes, you do. No, you don't. No, we don't. ACLS actually made us incredibly liable beyond what we needed to be. ACLS wasn't going to help our patients because thankfully the EMS responds really quickly and they're the ones that should handle it. And so, no, we didn't need ACLS. If it had been a simple transaction, that would have been the end of the conversation. But then we got talking about what we really needed. And we said, gosh, we feel like we need something, especially when it comes to pediatrics. Oh wait, we've got the perfect program for you. Joyce, the naysayer and the We Need ACLS said, I'd love to learn about that. Great, we'll certify you so that you can teach your entire team. That would be wonderful because we have accreditation coming up and we're a little bit nervous about our emergency preparedness. You are? Well, you know what? I'm a specialist in mock drills and tabletop mock drills. Do you want me to come and do an emergency preparedness walkthrough with you and lead you through several mock drills? Yes. But if we had gone in there with the philosophy of, let's solve this problem, that's all we would have done. That's all we would have been able to do. So what might seem like a simple phrase, every problem is a chance to build a relationship, can actually be much more. If you believe it, if you treat it as a guiding principle, if it becomes your motto, suddenly there is transformative power that every time you go into a problem, you do have the chance to make it more than a transaction. You have the chance to make it a relationship. Thank you.